Alright everyone, thank you for coming back. The last video did like ridiculously well considering the rest of the channel. I think it's on like 3.5, 3.6k views. The likes are really good as well. Also, I noticed the FIFA 82 video, which I made ages ago. A video where I basically took FIFA 20 or 21, depending on which one was out at the time, and transformed it into FIFA 82, players from 1982, the stuff from the magazines basically. And yeah, that's gone up in views, and like the likes on that have flown through the roof. It could be my second most liked video now, which is mad to think of where it was like literally 5 days ago. So that's really good, because that's one of the ones I actually put the most effort into, so I appreciate that. So yeah, this is a list of 101 movies that I have seen that I'm going to recommend that you watch. Preferably in lockdown, because you know, what else are you going to do in lockdown? You may as well watch movies that you've not seen before to like catch up, just to make it a bit more difficult for myself, and also to make sure that the chances are you've not seen all of these movies, or you've not seen most of these movies. On imdb, I have made sure none of these videos are 8 or higher out of 10, because I feel like most movies that are 8 or more out of 10 are movies that almost everyone has seen, so they would kind of just take up the whole list. There are some really obvious shouts, so just keep in mind this is for everyone. This is a scale of movies that maybe some people don't even watch movies, and there are some fairly big blockbusters from like the 90s that you're like, everyone's seen it, but it was only fair to include it because of the rating on imdb. It was lower than 8, so I may as well include it. It's complete range of genres as well. We're going for fun movies, there's some rom-coms, there's some action, there's some thrillers. There's a lot of thrillers, I'll admit, thrillers are my favourite. There's some period dramas. Mental, I think there's one period drama. What am I saying? There's some period dramas, there's like one. And yeah, I can't go into detail for every single video, because then this would become a podcast. So I'm going to blitz through the first 51, I will just name them, and then I'll go into a little bit more detail. The top 50, they're not really in an order, but keep in mind the ones that are in the top 50 are ones I really wanted to talk about, whereas the ones in the 101 to 51 are ones I really liked and I definitely recommend. But go for the top 50 first. Definitely go for them movies first. So yeah, I'm just gonna blitz through 101 to 51. If I can do this in one take, that would make editing so much easier. So 101, Only the Brave. 100, The Social Network. 99, Baby Driver. 98, The Guard. 97, Basic Instinct. 96, The Irishman. 95, Black Hawk Down. 94, Black Klansman. 93, Captain Phillips. 92, The Mummy. 91, Creed. 90, Dodgeball, A True Underdog Story. 89, Friday Night Lights, the movie, not the series. 88, Goldeneye. 87, Green Street or Green Street Hooligans if you're American. 86, Shaun of the Dead. 85, It. 84, John Wick. 83, John Wick Chapter 2. 82, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. I love my John Wick movies. 81, Little Women. There's your period drama. 80, Kingsman, The Secret Service. 79, Knives Out. 78, Lady Bird. 77, My Girl. 76, Predator. 75, 127 Hours. 74, Menace to Society. 73, Moonlight. 72, Star Wars The Force Awakens. 71, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 70, A Quiet Place. 69, Zombieland. 68, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. 67, Big Time Adolescence. 66, Love, Simon. 65, Spider-Man 2. 64, Spider-Man Homecoming. 63, Children of Men. 62, Straight Outta Compton. 61, The Bourne Identity. 60, The Bourne Supremacy. The other great Bourne movie was rated 8.0, so I couldn't include it. 59, The Gentleman. 58, Hot Fuzz. 57, Bad Boys. 56, The King of Staten Island. 55, The Lighthouse. 54, Jojo Rabbit. 53, Men in Black. Obvious movie, but maybe you haven't all seen it, and somehow it's like a 70, it's like a 7.3 or something. 52, Thor Ragnarok, and 51, Us. They are literally in no particular order. I just didn't want them to be in alphabetical order because that could be a bit boring. So I literally chucked them in a random order. I don't really care what order they are in. But if you've seen everything in the top 50, and there's some of those you haven't seen, go for some of those then. Now, the top 50 I've actually put onto a list on imdb, which I will link in the description. Without further ado, 50, The King. Was a movie starring Timothée Chalamet. Kind of a period drama, kind of an action movie. Really cool Robert Pattinson cameo, quite funny Robert Pattinson cameo actually. 49, The Warriors, a really weird movie that's actually really short. It's like an hour and a half in length, so you will blitz through it, and it's really enjoyable. It's about weird cult-like gangs in New York, and one gang gets framed for killing someone, and therefore all the other gangs are trying to kill them. 48 is They Live, starring Rowdy Roddy Piper, the wrestler, in one of the most cheesy but enjoyable horror/action movies ever made. I love this movie. It's an absolute guilty pleasure, but the actual message of the movie is kind of deep, which is weird for a cheesy action movie, so make of that what you will. 47 is Split, James McAvoy with probably the performance of his career, M. Night Shyamalan's return to glory, and then he just fucked right back off again and started making more terrible, not terrible, but just bang average movies. 46 is Ocean's 11. The only reason this is only at 46 is because I feel like everyone has seen it, but the reason it's in the top 50 is because it's one of my favorite ever movies, so it would be weird for me to not put it in the top 50. 45 is Looper, one of the best sci-fi movies of the last 10 years. Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it involves time travel, so if you've not seen it and you like sci-fi, check out Looper. 44 is The Fighter, one of my personal favorite boxing movies. For people who are like, what, he's put this above Creed? I've not put it above Creed. I just feel like everyone who's watching this video has probably seen Creed, because it came out far more recently. 43 is Speed. It is the epitome of amazing Keanu Reeves movies. It is a masterpiece. 42 is Batman, the 1989 version starring Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. It is probably my second favorite Batman movie ever. At lowest, third. The only thing that lets it down is the soundtrack, which was made by Prince. The rest of the movie still looks amazing, and then the soundtrack just throws you off and makes you realize, yeah, this was made in the 80s. Not that there's anything wrong with it being made in the 80s, but it just kind of takes away from the timelessness of it. 41 is The Town. It's a really enjoyable heist movie starring Batman and Hawkeye, Ben Affleck, and Jeremy Renner. Almost forgot his name. Jeremy Renner, obviously country singer. Jeremy Renner. Quite an underrated one. Pretty sure it's on Netflix. I think that's where I watched it. 40 is Boogie Nights. Mark Wahlberg plays a porn star named Dirk Diggler. That is all you need to know. 39, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Maybe my favorite Marvel movie. It is a fantastic movie. It is a brilliant standalone movie. I've seen people say it's like a neo-noir espionage movie. Like, sure, you can describe it as that if you want. For me, it's just like a really good Cold War spy movie. 38, Good Morning Vietnam. Shout out Robin Williams. Probably my second favorite Robin Williams movie after Good Will Hunting, which is obviously like really high rated on IMDb. So not a chance of that getting onto this list. 37 is Marriage Story, directed by Noah Baumbach, starring Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, who both put in incredible performances. Although somehow it was the attorney in the movie, Laura Dern, I'm pretty sure, got nominated for an Oscar for it, which I don't get. Love the movie, everyone's amazing in it, but I swear Laura Dern was in it for like 20 minutes and she got nominated for an Oscar. It wasn't really 20 minutes, but it felt like 20 minutes. 36, on a similar note to Marriage Story, Crank. Jason Statham at his most Jason Statham. 35, Con Air. Nicolas Cage with one of the worst accents in the history of movies, and it is still an amazing movie. There's a character called Cyrus the Virus who holds a teddy bunny rabbit hostage on a plane at one point in the movie. That's obviously not what the movie's about, but that is a genuine scene in the movie. Incredible stuff. 34, Moneyball. Love Brad Pitt. Needed to get another Brad Pitt movie in here. Also, Jonah Hill is amazing, but there's much more Jonah Hill to come. 33, End of Watch, probably the most convincing buddy cop movie ever made. I know it's almost a slap in the face to call it a buddy cop movie because it's a very gritty, grounded cop movie, but the relationship between the two police officers is basically the story. Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena, phenomenal acting. Apparently they didn't like each other on set. I feel like that's a stat. I feel like that's a fact everyone's heard in their life. They didn't get on set, but they loved each other in the movie. But I'm pretty sure they're mates now, so all is good. 32, Borat. It is an incredibly long named movie. It is not just called Borat, it's called like Borat, the cultural learnings of something, 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 something. I'm just gonna call it Borat. I've still not seen the second one. Let me know in the description, in the comments, if you've seen the second Borat and what you thought of it, because I've still not seen it. I have Amazon Prime as well. I don't know why I've not watched it, if I'm honest. 31 is The Disaster Artist. James Franco, brilliant as Tommy Wiseau. It is a comedy, as they kind of rip into one of the worst movies ever made, which I also recommend you watch, but only if you really like movies. Like, if you don't really like movies, you're just gonna sit there and be like, this is terrible. Unless you're like pissed, in which case it's probably still enjoyable. But yeah, The Disaster Artist, it's really heartfelt. It's a really well made movie, considering the subject matter is so easy to turn into just like a goofy comedy. It's a really, really good movie. 30, Boys in the Hood. I feel like everyone's seen it, so I'm just gonna kind of move on. If you've not seen Boys in the Hood, just watch it. I think it's on Netflix. Really, really good movie, but I feel like everyone's already seen it, so just gonna move on. 29, one from my childhood, The Fast and the Furious. The first one, comfortably the best Fast and Furious movie, in my opinion. That's literally so biased, I realize. It's just because I grew up with this movie and I love this movie. 28, Breakfast Club. Absolute classic. I said some stupid thing about this movie years ago on Instagram, which I regret. I said something stupid like it hasn't aged well. The fuck was I saying? It's a great movie. I'm an idiot sometimes. 27, what I don't think everyone here has seen, Silence, a Martin Scorsese movie. It is incredibly long. It is incredibly emotionally draining. The performances are amazing. Andrew Garfield, Adam Driver, incredible. They play Jesuit priests, I want to say, who basically they just struggle with the idea of actually sticking with their faith or being converted. I know that sounds boring, but it's a Scorsese movie and it looks amazing. The actual cinematography of this movie is amazing. 26, Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee's best movie. I don't think anyone's ever gonna argue that, really. It's literally Bruce Lee's best movie. It's a really, really enjoyable kung fu movie from start to finish. It's quite cheesy at points. It's quite predictable at points. But at the same time, the bad guy has a metal claw. And Bruce Lee fights him in a room full of mirrors. 25, Point Break. This movie has Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. There's an incredible skydiving scene. There's heists. There's surfing. 1991. Thank you for producing this movie. I've watched this movie so many times. I love Point Break. 24, for a more recent one, Uncut Gems. The Safdie brothers with their second classic they ever produced. More on that later. I love Uncut Gems. The whole movie is just like heart attack inducing, but at the same time it's phenomenal. It's an amazing movie. 23, Training Day, one of my favorite ever movies. Again, feel like everyone's seen it, but it's literally one of my favorite ever movies, and therefore it's really high up on the list. Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke, great movie. 22, The Cabin in the Woods. This was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Comedy / horror. Definitely the most self-aware horror movie made since Scream. It is really, really, really well done. It's so funny. But also, like, there are some really good horror elements. 21, The Goonies. If you were a kid and you have not seen The Goonies, watch it. I don't know how kids these days will react to The Goonies. I watched it probably 14 years ago for the first time, and I loved it, but I don't know how a kid in 2021 will enjoy it, or whether they will enjoy it, sorry. 20, Chronicle. Love this movie so much. Michael B. Jordan is one of my favorite actors, and this was one of the first of his movies I'd ever seen. It is my favorite found footage movie ever made. It is comfortably top 5 superhero movies I've ever seen. Basically 3 teenagers, cause of an accident at a house party, they went off on an adventure or whatever during a house party. They get superpowers and they do a more realistic high school / secondary school teenager thing and use their superpowers for like pranks, and then some of the pranks go too far, and then the third act of this movie is mental. It's not a comedy. Like the pranks bit are funny, but it's not a comedy, trust me. 19, Scream. Absolute classic. If you've not seen it, watch it. If you're scared of horror movies, watch this one anyway. It's really funny. It's really self-aware. It is basically what would happen if myself, a complete and utter movie nerd, was thrown into the scenario of a horror movie. And the twist at the end was groundbreaking at the time. I'm not gonna spoil it, but because so many movies since have come out and basically copied or borrowed stuff from Scream, it might not have the same effect on someone who is watching it for the first time in 2021. 18, The Place Beyond the Pines. One of the most underrated twists in movie history for me. That's all I'm gonna say. This is a movie you need to watch with no knowledge of. Ryan Gosling, Bradley Cooper, Mahershala Ali. Do not look this up. Do not look it up. If you've not seen The Place Beyond the Pines, I would actually recommend probably watching this one first. Just because of how good it is. But do not look it up. Go into this completely blind. 17, Detroit. Somehow, Will Poulter managed to become the worst human being I've ever seen. Well, not I've ever seen on camera, but you know what I mean. Oh my god, this movie is so emotionally draining. It's horrific, and it's based on a true story. 16, Rebel Without a Cause. Most of the movies before the 70s that I really like are all over 8 on imdb. This is the only one I'm pretty sure that I really like that is not. It's a movie anyone can watch, any age. James Dean, fantastic. He is so good in it. 15, American Psycho. Feel like everyone's seen it, but again, it is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. Batman is incredible. Once again, there's a lot of these movies where Batman is not Batman. Christian Bale is incredible as Patrick Bateman. 14, The Wrestler. Another one of them movies where, like, you look at the title, you look at the poster, and you're like, ugh. It is amazing. I'm pretty sure Hugh Jackman, aka Wolverine, said it's his favorite ever movie. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like he said something along those lines. Or maybe it was like the most inspiring movie he's ever seen. This is a fucking tearjerker. This one gets in your feels. It revived the career of Mickey Rourke. That is how good this movie is. It is amazing. 13, mid-90s. Love this movie, love everything about it, love the soundtrack, love the fact that it is literally skateboarders who are playing skateboarders. They were not actors beforehand. I love the fact that Del the Funky Homo Sapien has a cameo as a homeless man. I love the fact that this is directed by Jonah Hill. I love everything about mid-90s. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I am also a sucker for a coming-of-age movie, and this is a really good coming-of-age movie. On that note, 12, it's Superbad, starring Jonah Hill. Yeah, why is this got such a low rating on imdb? It's so dumb. Like, this is literally the best comedy, like, from my generation. This is my generation's best comedy, I would argue. People who say Step Brothers doesn't come close to Superbad. I know they're completely different movies, they're completely different styles of comedy, and really, that is completely subjective, but I don't care. Superbad is so much better. And number 11, it's The Blues Brothers. I think it's my dad's favorite movie. Really cool movie, really good soundtrack. If you've not heard of The Blues Brothers, watch The Blues Brothers. Don't watch the second one, it's awful. Watch the first one though. Right, we've hit the top 10, and at this point, if you're still watching, 2 things. 1, thank you very much. And 2, please like the video. Please. It actually makes a huge difference on how much exposure the video gets, because the more likes and comments a video has, the more YouTube pushes that video. So I would really appreciate it if you could like the video if you haven't already. And if anyone is still here and they haven't subscribed yet, please please do. We are almost at 500 subs, which is incredible because, now let's be real, a lot of that is due to the unprecedented success of the last video. But yeah, we're almost at 500 subs, so if you could please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd greatly appreciate that. Right, top 10. At 10, it's Collateral. Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx in a fantastic movie. Came out in, I think, 2004. It doesn't get talked about near enough. Yeah, it's all filmed in one night as well. I always enjoy when a movie like that is done successfully, when it's a real-time movie, like at the time the movie starts and the time the movie ends in the actual movie. That is how long the events have, you know what I mean, you know where I'm getting at here, because I can't explain it and I have no idea why. I literally study English. This is worrying. At number 9, Good Time, the Safdie brothers' first classic they put out. Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie, one of the Safdie brothers, both put in incredible performances. We also get a cameo from the guy from Captain Phillips who says, "I am the captain now." There are some really uncomfortable scenes though, so I don't think I should recommend this for kids. Number 8, Swingers. This movie has a special place in my heart. I love it. I love it so much. Vince Vaughn is so good in this movie. Also, Jon Favreau, aka Happy Hogan. I think his surname's Hogan. In the MCU movies, the Marvel movies. Oh, I love this movie. It's brilliant. It's a comedy, but it's really realistic about what life is actually like for aspiring actors in Hollywood. Watching this and The Disaster Artist within a couple days of each other is a experience. For most people watching this, they are not gonna like it as much as I did. But I just love it. I can't even pinpoint it. I just love this movie so much. Number 7, Fruitvale Station, Michael B. Jordan. Once again, this movie is about Michael B. Jordan playing Oscar. He plays Oscar Grant. Based on a real story. Real-time movie like Collateral. Oh, this one's so unfair. It's an interesting one because the ending is what you see first. Not like Memento. You see the ending, or you know what happens at the end, and then it tells you what happened beforehand, and you just feel a bit sad. Number 6, Snowpiercer. This is an English language movie directed by the guy who directed Parasite, Bong Joon-ho. Sorry, Bong. It's Chris Evans' best performance. For all the kids who want to talk to me about how he played Captain America, no. This is his best performance. For anyone who wants to talk to me about Scott Pilgrim, yeah, no, that was really good, but no. Snowpiercer is incredible. Again, watch this movie knowing nothing. I have not seen the series, so let me know if the series is any good if you have seen it, but the movie is one of the best sci-fi movies ever made. 5 is Drive. Ryan Gosling putting in a fantastic performance as a guy with literally no name. I'm pretty sure, I think his name is just the driver. This movie is amazing. It is one of the best movies ever, in my opinion. You're probably thinking, oh well, then if it's one of the best movies ever, why is it at number 5? And to be honest, I couldn't tell you. I told you it wasn't really in any order. It's not really in any order. This is one of the best movies I've ever seen though. Poe Dameron from Star Wars, aka Oscar Isaac, is really good in this. Number 4, The Nice Guys. Yet another Ryan Gosling movie. This one with Russell Crowe. This might be my favourite movie ever, if I'm honest. It's top 3. I know, again, it's number 4 on the list. What the fuck are you doing, Harry? But no, this might be one of my favourite. This is one of my favourite movies ever, but I don't know if it's my favourite. It's so funny. It's a disgrace that this didn't do really well at the box office. It is a buddy cop movie based in the 80s, I want to say, where they basically infiltrate the porn industry. That sounds like it's gonna be terrible, doesn't it? But it's not. It's Ryan Gosling. Number 3, Nightcrawler. Harry, everyone has seen Nightcrawler. What are you on about? Well, listen. If there's a movie under 8 out of 10 on IMDb that you have to watch, it's Nightcrawler. I feel like Nightcrawler is objectively the best movie on this list. Why is my camera so dark? We don't know. Like, what changed in the lighting? Is the sun just decided it hates me? Yeah, Nightcrawler is objectively, I would say, the best movie on this list. It's not my favorite, but it's probably the best. Jake Gyllenhaal gives one of the greatest performances of all time. If you like American Psycho, you'll like Nightcrawler, and vice versa. If you like Nightcrawler, you'll like American Psycho. Number 2, the movie I like to call the coolest movie I've ever seen, True Romance. And I stand by it. I think it is the coolest movie I've ever seen. I love this movie. It's got some insane names in its credits. The likes of Hans Zimmer, Quentin Tarantino, Val Kilmer, Dennis Hopper, Harvey Keitel, Patricia Arquette, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken, Samuel L. Jackson, to name a few. It stars Christian Slater in his best ever performance, let's be real. He seems like a really nice guy as well. I saw an interview with him. He seems like a really nice guy. But yeah, I would stand by the fact this is the coolest movie I've ever seen. Ever. And number 1, it's not my favorite movie. It's not the best movie. But the reason it's number 1 is because it is such a heartwarming movie that people just want to watch in lockdown. You want to watch a heartwarming movie. And therefore I recommend The Peanut Butter Falcon. It's just such a nice movie. It's just, you just feel warm inside watching it. It's so good. You just feel really good watching it. It's so good. And that's why it's number 1 on this list. Because it's just gonna bring your spirits up during lockdown if you watch The Peanut Butter Falcon. Alright, so that concludes the video. Thank you guys for watching. I know I've already said like and subscribe, and if you could comment as well what movies you've seen, what you haven't, and what you would recommend. That's below 8 on IMDb, because I feel like, as I said already, anything 8 or more on IMDb, everyone has seen. Yeah, if we could get 500 subs. I haven't set a target because I wasn't expecting to grow this much just off one video, so I have no idea what to predict or expect, if I'm honest. We'll just see how it goes. If we hit 500 soon, we hit it soon. If we don't, we don't. 1K by the end of the year is definitely achievable, and I think if I could just get my ass in gear, we can get it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Much appreciated. Next video is probably going to be with Keenan, so leave some suggestions as to what you'd like to see us do as a collab. I feel like we're going to do something on his channel as well. So yeah, thanks.